Join UF Hall of Famer and 14-year NFL vet Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. It's a live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. It is Tuesday. We'll have Buddy Martin here just in a minute. We'll have Bo Bounds from ESPN Mississippi talk a little Mississippi State football and whatever else you want to talk about in the state of Mississippi. If you missed it last night, man, you talking about some dumbass coaching decisions by the Eagles at the end of that game cost them probably a win. Congratulations to the Falcons, last second victory. All you got to do is run the football, run the clock, kick the field goal, and they only have about 40 seconds left. But a lot of people make bad coaching decisions. Let's go to the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp, and let's see if this guy has any good coaching decisions. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Good morning, Shane. I'm trying to improve my attitude. It hasn't been very good lately, and it's been difficult. We did the show last night, of course, with you. And here's the sad part about it is a good friend and colleague, a guy you know, says, hey, it's good for business. We've never had more people glomming onto our shows and watching what we're saying, all looking for some kind of answers, all trying to make sense of this thing, Shane. And I've decided to put on my my doctors. I wish I had one of those doctor's things you wear, and talk about this from a mental standpoint. And I want to get a little personal with you, if you let me, this morning about it, because I feel like a lot of Gators who have a lot invested, I don't mean money, I mean emotionally and every other way, are thinking, what just happened? How did we miss this so badly? I among them. I'm thinking, and I got real kind of angry thinking about it, about how this all happened and nobody was called to be accountable. So anyway, I'm trying to work on my attitude. I'm going to try to figure a way to get through this, but it's been ugly for a lot of people and there's a lot of pain going around.
Yeah, it's exhausting. I don't know how else to phrase it. We have some comments here on YouTube brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Christopher says, good morning. Any truth to the rumor that Hugh Jackson was on campus? Why would Hugh Jackson be here?
Who? The football
Hugh Jackson. He coached in the NFL for a while. He also coached
Oklahoma guy?
No, he coached at Grambling. I don't even know why that's even a rumor. I mean, Hugh Jackson was one of my coaches in the NFL for a year, and we do not want him as one of our coaches.
Okay, thank you.
And there's no way. Like I said, I think I'd have a better chance of I don't even know why he would be on campus. That makes no sense at all. So,
well, I'll tell you who was on campus, but who is in town, and which means something. Jimmy Sexton.
He was on campus?
I don't say campus. I said in town.
Interesting.
When I last talked to a person I know really well, and you know really well, he was heading that direction. And yet what's odd about that is when asked in his press conference, by the way, I can honestly say I watched every word of Billy's press conference. I don't know any more than I did before I watched it. But supposedly this guy's in town, and Billy was asked point blank. I think it was, I don't know who asked him, Baker probably, about had he had any conversations about his future at Florida. And he said no. Now, I don't know how about you. I find that hard to believe. But then sometimes when I hear Billy talk, and let me just say this. I like, we all say this, I like Billy. I want him to win. I root for him. I thought he might be the guy. I drank the Kool-Aid. I jumped in. But, you know, Billy, if you want to talk about looking at the guy's career and what he's done at Florida, it's a big zero, nothing. He's done nothing but make it worse. And so when you stop and think about who's accountable for that? Kind of it's us. We all sit back and let it happen. Said, well, it's okay, it's gonna be good. He's fixing it and whatever. And then to hear him talk about how he worked on things, they were better, and going out and seeing the team play, and they weren't better. I'm thinking, how stupid are we? Can't we see with our own eyes what's going on here? I don't get it. I don't know what happened. All I can say is it must be the curse of the Marco Wilson thrown shoe that
Mm.
started everything going the wrong direction, because this program has gone downhill, is going downhill, and there's going to have to be a change made. And I got some good information last night. I'm not going to say it's the gospel, but it's probably pretty close. That they're going to go with they're going to ask Billy this week, maybe today, do you want to coach his team as a lame duck, quote unquote, the rest of the way? Because somebody has to coach the team, and there is nobody on the staff, you know that, Shane, who can take it as an interim right now. So I get what they're hoping for, I think, is to hire a general manager type person, not affiliated necessarily with the program today, and let that person manage the process to keep the thing from falling apart until they can hire their new coach in January. And Shane, you might as well go ahead and say it. There's really only one guy everybody wants. Now that's how I see it, and I think this is accurate.
Yeah. I think there's two names on the list. It's Lane and it's Lincoln Riley. So,
I would agree
uh,
100%.
yeah, I have some friends that are close to the, well, not friend. Well, I guess a couple of them are friends. A couple of them played at USC. A lot of people out there aren't happy with Lincoln. He is not a good fit. But regardless of all that, we got some questions here I want to get to.
Before you go there, Shane, just real quick, I'm sorry you don't want to go there, but I want you to tell me. I mean, can you give me any, and we did this last night, let's say, just give me three names of people that you would like to have. First of all, 99% of the people that they want aren't going to be accepted by the Gator Nation, who want something for their money and don't want the same old thing and don't want the same old guys. So it's really Lane or nobody, really.
Well, it's tough. There's no question. I think it's kind of similar from what I mean. I was a player at the time, a guy on the team, not much of a player, but people tell me that the Gator Nation was kind of in disarray and kind of everyone came together when they hired Steve Spurrier, because people wanted him. Not that he was a known commodity, but people wanted him because he's a former player. People know what Lane can do. So I think from
Wait. Hold on 1 second. Let's just skip over that because that's not entirely true. I was living it there just like you were, working there, living there, covering the team when you were when you when you became the quarterback. And I remember the press conference when Steve talked about it. The truth of the matter is Florida was desperate at that point in time. They had a guy in the building, Shane, I can tell you 100%, who was trying to block Steve.
oh no,
Bill
I know that.
Arnsberger didn't want Steve. I had personal conversations with
Right.
Arnsberger. He did everything he could to just block it.
And
And then Bob Bryant,
who got them to hire him?
Bob Bryant,
Yeah, the president and the
President.
boosters.
Right.
Yeah,
And by the way, the hierarchy of the AD, there was another guy there involved. He was not a
yeah.
anyway. But the
Uh,
point that it wasn't a slam dunk. It didn't go, oh, say come by, yeah, great. There were still
no,
people that didn't know Spurrier could coach a lick. It wasn't like it was, oh yeah, this is a slam dunk. No, it was not.
yeah. Andy has a question for you, buddy, here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mello. Do you think Steve Spurrier will have any input on or influence in determining who the next Gator coach will be?
Influence, yes. Say about it, no. I've had long conversations with coach, but recently is 48 hours ago. He's kind of a dumbfounded as we all are. He was kind of in on Billy too, and really thought that. And he said to me yesterday, he said, "Look, they can still turn it around." He said, "I've been there. I've seen it happen. beat Mississippi State, things can happen. I know he believes in that, but I'm sorry, Coach, this ain't happening. This is not going to be turned around. He's of course a employee of the university somewhat. He didn't have to say that. You know, Steve, he's not going to just say it because he has to. But do I think he'll have any real influence? Not really.
No. Mike's question, QB, do you think
Do
Kerwin
you?
is ready? No. Mike says, QB, do you think Kerwin is ready to coach the Gators, or is it bigger than he's ready for? Okay. I don't think Kerwin's going to get an opportunity, but so when people talk about a job is too big for you, okay, so let's just say if Billy does not work out here, well, McElwain didn't work out here, Muschamp didn't work out here, Mullen, okay. Out of the ones that I just mentioned, can you, again, it's not as something too big for you. It's just sometimes people aren't as good at coaches as other coaches, okay? Does that make sense? Because it's just like quarterback play. Guys either have it or they don't.
Yeah.
You know, not that Billy's not a good coach. He just doesn't have it to coach at this level. That doesn't mean it's bigger for him. Do I think Kerwin could handle it? I absolutely do, because I think he is as good as anybody I've ever been around from X's and O's and just coaching. But that's not even going to happen. So when people say the job is too big for someone, that when I don't say it that way, I just say he just isn't fit and doesn't have it to coach at a high level. There's only been two here, people, two, okay? And they're Hall of Famers.
And
So,
by the way, Urban wasn't a slam dunk either, just so we remember that, okay?
right.
He was a really good coach at Utah, and there were people who bashed him when he first came here and said he'll never. Brady Ackerman, I had a discussion about it early on. He didn't think he was a good coach at all. And he had, and a lot of people didn't like Urban. And when he got beat by Georgia, well, the wheels started coming off. And like Urban, I mean, Shane, he walks into a restaurant and got booed in Gainesville, in a restaurant in Gainesville. That's how bad it was. So you guys stop acting like Urban and Steve were like angels that descended upon us, and we knew they were the guy. They were not, but they had to prove it. Ray Graves, he never gets a proper respect for what he did. And I can tell you about epic fails. We talked about it last night. I mean, look, by all stretch of imagination, Will Muschamp should have been the guy. Gainesville guy, had SEC ties, was a good up-and-coming coach, was a coach in waiting at Texas, and he had no offense. Go back and Doug Dickey. Doug Dickey was the slam dunk choice. He was what Lane Kiffin was today. He'd won the SEC. Florida never won it. Doug Dickey was hired, brought here, failed. So it's not like there's any magic formula out there or that we're so smart because we're the University of Florida. It's a risk no matter which way you go. But your point is because of the failure of Billy, and use that terrible phrase, Billy, the guys will not be the lesser known guys will not have a shot at this job because the Gator Nation will not go to their wallets for anybody except Lane Kiffin. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and however, the history of Florida hiring coaches in every sport is from smaller colleges. Connor Stallions, who's tuning in on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plum, says Lane Kiffin, Lincoln Riley, or Jeff Brom from Louisville. I love Jeff Brom, offensive guy, tremendous play caller. That's his alma mater. I don't know if that would happen or not. Rod wants to know, why do we run the ball on the O-line if they're not capable of blocking? Why don't we just pass every down? I'm all for that. Seems
Good
like the
point.
strength of the offense is wide
point.
receivers. Use the quick game as running. Yeah, I'm all for that for sure. Now people want to know about Matt Rule at Nebraska. He does a good job in college football, bouncing around, building programs. There's no question about that for sure. Okay. So, gosh, where's this other? All right. So, buddy, so do you think Billy makes it the rest of the year?
I think this week, maybe even today, Billy will be given opportunity to coach the team the rest of the year if he wants to take it. Or he can take the $26 million and run. And he's gone. He's gone. But Florida's in a dilemma because they have nobody to be a placeholder, Shane.
Well, let me ask you this, buddy, because somebody asked me this, and I never thought about it from a monetary standpoint. If you do make someone, and you've been covering coaches a long time, if you make somebody an interim, don't you have to, I don't want to say rework their contract, but don't you have to pay them more?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so that right there would save us money that we need to save for somebody
But
else.
Shane, who? Who?
No. I'm not. My point is, if you do make Buddy Martin the interim, you're going to have to increase Buddy's pay.
Yeah, there's not going to be an interim. I mean, it'll be somebody to be a coach, maybe play coach out a few months, but there's going to be a general manager type person. I've even heard some names. I can't mention them. Of people, and it's not Urban Meyer, by the way, although it may have Urban Meyer fingerprints all over it. And they're determined to move forward. I say the money people, and Shane, you said it, and your producer, I think, put it online, that the money people are making this higher. It is the money.
Well, I think they're going to be a part of it. I don't know if I said it exactly like that or it was taken out of context, but
well, who then?
Well, I think, I mean, if I'm writing a check for X 20, $30 million, I would hope that person has some say. I would think they would.
But that's going to be the money people. That's what I'm saying. They're the ones who are going to make the choices. They're writing a check, and rightfully so. They should have a say in it. But nobody, you can't say, okay, it's been Sass or whoever it might be. I mean,
well, he's not in here anymore.
Well, Dr. Fox, whatever. I mean, when you say they, Shane, who is they?
Well, I don't know. I'm not in the meetings. I'm just saying none of this is going to happen until December, January, or February. So we don't have to worry about it.
What do you mean none of this? They're going to be
decisions. You can't hire a new coach till then.
The decisions are going to be made about what to do about it this week. Things are going to be decisions. That means you say, let's stop right now. Let's freeze the process and say, tell Billy, you're done, and we'd like you to stay a coach, and see what he says. And then go get yourself a guy who manage the program, and then start the search. That's exactly what I'm hearing from people.
Okay, so everybody's saying Jack says Spurrier had already proven that he could coach with the Tampa Bay Bandits and by winning the ACC championship with Duke. That is true. Well, Billy won the Sun Belt.
It's not. I mean, that's not true, Steve. I mean, no, that's
nobody, buddy. But this is a fact. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. Not many people wanted him as the head coach here.
No, I say a lot of people wanted him. There was there was a lot of Gator players. Let me give credit where credit's due. A guy named Gene Peak had used his heavy influence among the boosters. He was all in on Spurrier from the get-go. He campaigned like crazy for Steve. But there were a lot of people who didn't want Steve, who thought he didn't want to work hard enough, didn't have enough credentials, etc. He was Sunbelt Billy to some people, like he was like ACC Steve,
Text on the Titanamore text line from 941. He says, let's give Billy some credit. He did fix the culture and the player experience here. I agree with that 100%. But so we hired him to coach. We hired him to coach a contender, and we haven't been further from that in my lifetime.
Exactly right.
He said Ed Ogeron is the greatest interim coach ever, and he's available and living in Miami. Call him. You got to pay him, though. That's the problem. There's no reason to pay anybody, in my opinion.
No. I mean, who would you like to see? I mean, other than Lane, Shane, look, let me just put it like this. I'm going to make it personal. I told you this when I started out. This is a personal thing. You, among a few handful of people, really built the new Gator program, Shane. You were the one. You were the maestro there. You came in and Spurrier's first year, and you made it all happen and unbelievable. What y'all wanted? 4 of the next 5 or whatever it was. And it happened. And you look at you. This is the house that Shane built. Think about it. This is a place that you brought great glory to, and took it out of the mothballs and all the old ghosts and stuff. And you have a lot of Shane. If I said to you, what's the one thing you're proudest of in your football career? It wouldn't be that you played for 6 NFL teams or whatever. What would it be, Shane? What would it be? You know what it would be.
Oh, it's my playing here, man. It's my university.
Turn the program
it's loyalty to my university.
MVP,
I care about the damn program too much, I guess.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the most important thing you have. It's your family jewels, man. It's what Shane Matthews is, and you deserve all the glory. You deserve a statue. You deserve anything you get because you did a magnificent thing. Now, don't you resent? I don't mean Billy did this on purpose or that the fix was in, although a good friend of mine and yours said, we got conned. Man, we bought into what Billy bought into. Don't you resent and aren't you a little bit angry at what they've done to your programs?
Well, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It happens at a lot of programs, not just
Yeah, but that
ours.
was Shane. Not didn't happen like this. Florida, this is the moment of glory for this school of all time. And you were there, the architect of it. And this guy came in and they gave him the keys to the kingdom and the bank vault, and he got millions of dollars, and he's done nothing. Didn't mean he didn't try. Good guy and all that. He just didn't get it done. And I'm angry at myself. Not that I have any influence in this, I don't for not screaming and yelling, no, this is not right. This guy's not the guy. This is he's telling us one thing and doing something else. And to me, that's just that is no wonder we got PTSD, post traumatic stress
Hmm.
disorder. We all thought about it, thought, wait a minute, that guy just picked my pocket. Hold on a second. That's my school. I resent what he did to it. Now that's what happened last night on the program. Franz Beard, who's been all belly, all belly, all belly, and see, we were close. He went, he got all bent out of shame and angry as he thought about it. He got PTSD thinking about what happened to the University of Florida. There are some people, Shane, you're one of them, who have more invested in this program than others. You have more invested. I don't care about dollars. You do, Shane. And this is
I agree.
what they've done to your school.
Yeah, it's not great. So back to YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Jack says, "Do y'all think Lane Kiffin would leave Ole Miss for Florida? I love our university, but we are a dumpster fire." I've gone through my thoughts on Lane, um, whether it's right or wrong. People forget my ties to Ole Miss too. You know, Ole Miss, I know that program extremely well. Grew up going to it till I basically became a senior in high school.
Dad
With my
played there.
dad
Mom,
played there, my mom's a cheerleader. I mean, I love the Rebels, but the
and I
brand is
understand
different.
that.
The brand is different. Yeah, they're a better team. They're a better program than we are right now, but that doesn't mean it can't change in 1 year or
What's the
2 years.
question again? Do you
He says,
think
Why
good?
would Lane leave Ole Miss?
Well, why does anybody leave? Go somewhere they want to work and they have
Yeah,
history.
there's a lot of upside to coming here. Um, and somebody else left me this text here on the Titan MR text line. The two most successful coaches already in our program had a talented team when they took over. Lane won't be so fortunate if he takes over. That came from Frank. That's probably true, Frank, but in today's world, it's different because you could literally bring 35 new
Bring a
players
team,
in if you
bring the
want through
whole
the
team.
portal.
You bring your
Yeah.
whole team with
Yeah. So
you. 100% right.
anyway, and then this is from Coaching Corner on YouTube, brought to you by Quad. It says, "Does Coach? I don't know if this is Scott Strickland have, yeah, or Steve Spurrier. Does SS have a say so after going? It must be Scott Strickland after going 0-2 on head coaches. I'm sure Scott, if he's still here, will have some say. But
Won't
look,
be. He
let
won't.
me
Oh,
just get back up to this. Look, I know everybody's on Scott Strickland. I get it. You know, he. Let's not forget though, as great as Jeremy Foley was, he hired Zook, McElwain, and Muschamp. Right?
yep.
Those were his three hires.
Yep.
He did not hire Urban. No matter what anybody says, he was the
I
AD
know
here, but
100% you didn't hire Urban.
he did not hire him. He was the AD, but he did not hire him. So
Right.
he was 0 for 3 in football. And then obviously Scott hired Mullen and Billy. So it's not a great track record, but they swung and they missed. Swung and they missed. There's too many questions. I appreciate everybody chiming in though.
That's a Mighty Casey swinging miss, by the way. So there you go.
Lenny says, "Let her rip, Shane. You do it. You don't have to recruit since it's just until the end of the year." I don't know what that means.
They say
No
take
idea.
the job, be the better guy, take it over. Problem is Shane doesn't have it. It's got to be somebody that knows the program. You can't go in and change everything. I mean, the offense, the defense, etc. Shane would be
Mhm.
wonderful. I'd love to see Shane come down and do that. That'd be fantastic. Just the guy.
Well,
And
it costs the university money, buddy. We need to save all the money we can.
yeah, right.
Uh,
Shane, let me just say this: you're cheap and you're available. Okay.
cheap and available. Well, I like to play golf too. Um, so anyway, Van Der says that would be 35 losers from other pros. Not true, Van Der. If you know, I mean, Lane's entire team is made up of transfers.
Yeah.
His
Yeah.
transfers though were stars at other programs. And like I
Mhm.
said, Lane may tell us no if that's who we go after. He may say no. I don't think he will, but I think he could say no.
No. Why would you say yes, Shane?
Okay, so here's why my thoughts are that he would say yes. From sources that are very close, say it's always been his dream job. Okay. We all know that Urban's dream job was Notre Dame. Never happened. Or maybe it was Ohio State. I
Actually,
don't know.
he had almost accepted that job the
Yeah.
night.
Okay. So dream job, no state income tax in the state of Florida. Think about how much money he has to pay,
Wow.
dish out living in the state of Mississippi. Okay. He likes to fish a lot. We all know he used to have or still does have a place down in Boca. It's a lot closer here. The brand, as good as Ole Miss is right now, the brand is different. It's a different school. And, you know, you people talk about recruiting. State of Mississippi puts more players in the NFL per capita than any other state, but it's small. You come to the state of Florida, he always has dudes that can run. I think players will follow him. Players enjoy playing for him. Those are my reasonings behind it.
Very like Steve Spurrier in his offensive approach. He attacks. We like very similar.
Yeah. So, but anyway, you know, like I said, it may not happen. I don't know, but I think it's him, and we got to keep our fingers crossed.
If you could put the smartest people in the room that you know about this, and I don't know who that would be, how would you go about attacking this? You start by saying, let's identify and target the guy that we want, right? It all starts with Kiffin. And then,
Yeah.
as you say, he may or may not. He could say, I don't want to. I'm fine. I'm good the rest of my life. And then, so the problem is, what's the plan B? Who's on that B list, that we get into? And we know Lincoln
Well,
Riley's there. And,
since people are asking me, I'm gonna give you my top three right now.
all
And
right.
it was the same as Connor Stallions, who's chiming in and stealing signals on my program.
Okay.
It's Lane. Well, here's what I would do. I would give you my top five.
All
It would
right.
go Lane, Lane, Lane,
Yeah.
Lincoln Riley, Jeff Brom.
Jeff Brom. You like Jeff Brom that much, huh?
Coach Spurrier asked Coach Spurrier about Jeff Brom.
Yeah.
He and I both wanted Jeff Brom before. Where was he? He was at Western Kentucky, and then I think Purdue hired him. I'm telling he's Bobby Petrino, but my age. He's a very good play caller.
All right. I'll take your word.
Yes, he's excellent. Excellent.
How about guys like Lance Leopold? What an unbelievable job he's done in Kansas. You would never,
buddy. They're 1-2 right now.
I know, but he's a hell of a coach.
He's a good coach, but we don't need him. That's like hiring Billy.
I'm just asking questions. I don't know
Yeah.
anybody. I got nobody. Okay, nobody.
Yeah. Connor Stallion says Jackson Dart's going to be in the NFL next year. Lane could come here and coach Lagway or risk finding a new QB. He's got that's what somebody told me. I was like, look, he may love. Let's just take Lane out of it. Whatever the new coach may really like DJ, but the new coach may have quarterbacks that they like
His own guy
on top of over DJ. So I think whoever they hire has to be an offensive dude that can score points, get people excited.
Yep.
And anyway, all right, let's see if I'm waiting to see. Hang on, buddy. Who do you have in your program tonight, buddy?
Well, tonight I turned over to the guys, and Lauren Meadows is calling the shots on the program tonight. We'll have our usual Tuesday night crew. I'm taking the night off, and you'll see the regular characters. We've had a great show. We went live yesterday. We had 1,300 people all just like that. Could not believe it. So that's what we got going on. It'll be more of the same. Our friend David, while you're doing that, David, who's pretty clued in. He's weighing in on this. I just reached out to a Louisville booster to see what's up with Braun. So it's already started. So you say it here and it starts happening.
Yeah. All right. So real quick, before we get out of here, I got to read this one. Where did it go? Dadgummit. It was hilarious. Oh, this is the one right here. I left this out, Michael. I'm glad you said it. Lane's ego and the challenge to build something again like Spurrier is something Lane would like. Yes, I agree with that 100%.
Yesterday in the passing fancy of all the things that were said, so many people making comments about who they wanted. So many Gator fans just mired in agony. Someone says, I'll take the parking tickets. In a way, there's something to that. A lot of people say that Billy's got so many choir boys. He hadn't had any problems with anybody, but by the same token, there's such tenacity missing, isn't there? That's part of it. I don't know. I'm glad that I character and all that, but fact remains that there's something. The defense, that's a mystery. What is up with that defense? I hear, by the way, they are really unhappy with the coaching of their corners. Really unhappy. So,
well, I just know that we have not been good on defense in 4 or 5 years. Rod says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plum, Shane, even if Kiffin takes the job, never beaten Kirby Smart, isn't that the end goal? Well, there's only been one guy that's beaten Kirby Smart, and he don't coach anymore, right? Nick Saban.
That's right.
Yeah. Electronics World integration and design specialist for smart home automation and entertainment, affordable local installation service and support. Go check them out, electronicsworld.net.
All right, buddy. We mentioned David Whitley. He's always on Tuesday night. He's great. He'll be on tonight as well, David Whitley.
RW says Lane Kiffin would finally make ex-wife Layla's dream come true as her late father was legendary Gator QB John Reeves.
Well, that would be true. And I knew John. You knew John really well. He coached you. He may be as responsible as anybody at Florida outside Coach Spurrier for your success. You know why?
Agree.
He believed in you, Shane.
Agree. All right, buddy. We're going to take a timeout, come back, talk to Bo Bounds over in Mississippi about the Mississippi State Bulldogs and maybe the Ole Miss Rebels as well. All right, buddy. Appreciate your time, my friend.
Thanks for having me on, Shane.
All right, that's Buddy Martin. Join us on the Titan More Highline. Quick timeout. Come back. We'll have Bo Bounds from Mississippi. You're watching and listening to PodUp Matthews in the Morning. We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills.
Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, Titan MRI, Meldon Law, Peachland Dental, QC Kinetics, Campus USA Credit Union, Dave & Buster's. Gridiron sponsors, Comfort Temp, UF Bookstores, Quality Plumbing, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogra State Farm, Electronics World, F45. Our touchdown sponsors, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Aikido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, Miapa Latin Cafe, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, MG&A Wealth, Nest and Wild.
If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Pro Football legend Emmitt Smith understands your joint pain.
It does not surprise me that there are a ton of people out there that's in pain.
That's why Emmitt is such a proponent of QC Kinetics, offering real lasting joint pain relief with non-surgical, all-natural biologic treatments.
Whether it's a joint pain, ankle pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, hip pain, any kind of pain, the body eventually will break down when it's under that much stress.
That stress can cloud your judgment to the point that you'll just say yes to the scalpel or yes to another prescription of pain pills. But maybe it's time for a second opinion from QC Kinetics.
The reason why I would recommend this is because the natural biologics that QC Kinetics is providing you gives your body a chance to naturally heal itself.
Restorative, regenerative solutions are here. Get lasting relief and live your life.
Call QC Kinetics 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics 352-400-4550.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security Systems Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Miapa Latin Cafe. Discover the ultimate Cuban culinary experience at Miapa Latin Cafe. With 5 locations in Gainesville and Alachua, you're never far from the best Cuban food north of Miami. Going to go back to the Titan No More hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. We're going to be joined by Bo Bounds from ESPN over there in Mississippi. Good morning, Bo. How you doing, buddy?
Shane Matthews, how are you, man?
I'm good. Appreciate you getting up early. I know it's early for you boys in the Central Time Zone, but I know you're a Mississippi State guy. I love the Jeff Lebby hire. I think they're going to be good over time. But tell me what the hell happened last week against Toledo?
Well, Shane, this is a major rebuild that Jeff has inherited. And with Leach dying, having to hire Arnett, wasn't ideal. 4 coaches after Mullen, all of that has given us this. And this is the worst talent level, lowest talent level stratification, whatever you want to say, since Cheryl's last year when everything unraveled and they went 2-10, Shane. So they're awful on defense. The surprise here for me is that they didn't play better against Arizona State and Toledo on offense. Blake Shapen can play. Lebby knows offense. That's what they've got to get figured out. They're not going to win a lot of games, but they can at least be entertaining, and they got to figure that out like this weekend. Because even though your team isn't good and is reeling and trying to figure out who they are, y'all have athletes, and you're better on paper, without a doubt, on paper. The line's kind of weird at 5.5, but the total doesn't surprise me at 57.5. That makes sense to me. But they're going to have to score some points because their defense is atrocious. Not talent level, and they have a first-year defensive coordinator that's never called plays.
Yeah, that's interesting because I've always thought about Mississippi State, over the years, being pretty good on defense, being very physical. Their offense scares the hell out of me because we have trouble sometimes lining up. And with the pace that Lebby plays with, and I'm assuming he's using that pace, and I love the quarterback. And they got to have some skill guys. I know Creed Whittemore is Mr. Football. He's from the Gainesville area.
Yeah.
He's a little dude that can run and make plays. When you talked about the roster, I can see it because I kid you not, Mississippi State last year might have been one of the worst offensive football teams I've ever seen at any level.
No question. No question.
It was horrible. And I felt terrible for Will Rogers. That was last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he's a damn good quarterback. I mean, he had a chance to be like one of the all-time leading passers in the SEC, but they couldn't call pass plays correctly. So I can see the roster being a mess right now. But go ahead.
Well, they can't run the football, Shane. So they're at all. So their only opportunity to score against Florida will be through the air or jet sweeps and things, some eye candy and jet sweeps. They don't have a Power 5 or Power 4 running back. And their O-line has yet to prove that they could block you or I. So the only way that they can get to, and this may be all it takes on Saturday, Shane, 17 to 21 points. is to throw it with Shapen. And they got a guy named Coleman who can play. You're right. Creed can play. Sadu, their tight end, very talented. And they've got a couple other guys. Mosley is dangerous. Very talented. He was going to sign with Tennessee out of high school, out of Mobile. Pruitt got fired. He went to Northwestern, was miserable up north. Can't blame him. Ended up down here, and he's a pretty good player. So the only way for them to move the ball in the Gator defense is through the air or some smoke and mirrors.
Yeah. Andy's question for you on Facebook Live brought to you by Mel Law. He says, Bo, do you think Creed Whittemore will ever be more involved in the offense going forward? He's only had one nice run and one nice catch this year.
I do. I thought he played better over the weekend. Well, they got to give him the ball. So I do think that Creed, first of all, he's young. I don't count last year because of what you said, Shane. They couldn't even throw the ball on offense last year. I do think Creed will be a bigger piece of the puzzle. Levy has told me personally, and when he's been with us, we've had him on several times, that he really likes Creed.
Yeah, I talked to Creed a little bit before the season started, and they said that they were even talking about, and you just mentioned, I didn't realize the running back issues, that they may put him at running back some because of his running ability. Yeah, they probably should. Clayton on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says Mississippi State will run hurry up and have a field day. They will be snapping the ball with our guys looking to the sideline for the play call. That's happened a lot when teams go hurry up with us.
So, yes, you know how this offense is predicated, Shane, on rhythm and getting a first down or two? They haven't been able to do that. They only had 8 yards in the first quarter against Toledo.
Wow.
So, yes, if they get that first down and that second first down, they may actually move the ball on the Gators. However, if you don't get rhythm and tempo going and the negative plays that they sustained last week against Toledo, it won't matter. So I'll be interested to see what the Gators do. Here's something else that I think that Levy talked about yesterday. Because they can't block, they're going to have to snap the ball and get the ball out of Shapen's hand quick. I mean, he held it too long last week, sacks, negative plays, only 8 yards in the first quarter. I mean, literally, Mississippi State is close to Vanderbilt level talent. Offense is better than that. Defense is not. Florida should win the game, but good hell, y'all haven't looked good either. So I don't know what to do with this thing, Shane.
Yeah. So, Shapen, correct me if I'm wrong, he's very athletic.
Yes.
And do you think they'll use him in the run game at all? Because Florida has trouble when teams run their quarterback.
He is capable of ripping off 8 and 9 yard runs when things break down. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think Jeff wants to run him much because he has nothing behind him, but he is capable of going and getting a first down.
So you talked about Levy going to struggle this year. The fan base, are they behind the hiring of Jeff Levy?
Yes. I mean, you got the vocal minority that's already jumping off the bridge.
Right.
But good Lord, Mike Leach died. You had to hire Arnett for a year. Now you got Levy. You got to give this guy a couple of years to get going. So I believe that Jeff can do it. He'll have to make some changes on his staff. Most everybody does, but you got to get behind him.
So who is his defensive coordinator, first-year guy?
Guy named Coleman Hutzler, who's never been in DC and never called. He was at Florida, South Carolina, and Alabama.
Yeah. I don't know if he was with Muschamp or with Urban and kind of started working his way. Muschamp. Yeah, I know exactly who you're referring to. Was he at Ole Miss at some point?
I think he was at Ole Miss under Lane for a year before maybe.
Yeah, I think he was like a special teams guy there or what have you.
Yes, he was special teams coordinator.
I want to get your thoughts on the NIL, especially in the state of Mississippi. It's a small state with a lot of schools in there. We know Ole Miss spends a lot of money. How's the NIL doing at state?
Well, I mean, look, they've been able to raise several $1 million. The problem is you got to have $12 million in your team. to win, minimum 12, 13, 14 million. So they raised, so look, right out of the gate, they didn't do well. Most teams didn't. One team, couple teams did, Ole Miss, Missouri, and so on. They got their act together last year, raised some more money, and they're going to have to, now that the schools are going to be able to pump money in, Shane, I mean, that's going to be the deal. You're going to, the athletic department's going to have to pump $20 to $23 million in NIL. Because as you know, your football team's going to be 12 million, 13 million minimum. Your basketball team, 4.5 million minimum. Your baseball team, 2.5 million, and the rest goes to Olympic sports.
Yeah.
And Ole Miss has done look, they had some donors who got in early, and Lane got it early and didn't dismiss it like a lot of people, embraced it, and look where they are. They're a top 5, top 10 team.
Yeah, they're rolling. Dan's question for you on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, says, Bo, does Bob's Frozen Custard still sell the Mullen lateral move? Isn't that some kind of ice cream thing that Mullen used to
I've
eat?
never been to Bob's, but I'll have to check that out. I'll be up there Friday. Both my kids go to Mississippi State, and we have a game day place up there. I'll have to check that out this weekend.
Yeah. You know, my daughter's a graduate of Mississippi State. Did you know
Is
that,
she?
Bo? Yeah.
That's great.
And she lives in Madison.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right. So let's switch gears real quick. Let's talk a little bit about Ole Miss. I'm sure that's who everybody wants here at Florida. They want Lane Kiffin. Your thoughts on the job Lane has done at Ole Miss? Do you think he would leave Oxford?
Well, okay, first, the job that he's done is unbelievable. He's the best coach they've ever had, the best hire ever made in the history of the school. Keith Carter hit a grand slam. Lane has grown up and evolved into a top 5 to top 7 coach in college football. He's unbelievable at staffing, and he understood NIL from the gate. So will he go to Florida, Shane? He's rolling. Here's the question. When you were there with Spurrier, y'all were rolling. And you had that window with Urban, but Urban kind of acted like a mercenary. And I think a lot of the top Florida alums and brass did not like, they liked they liked the outcome and the national championships and the wins, but they didn't like the way that the program was run. So the deal is, you know this, Shane, post Spurrier, Zook, Muschamp, McElwain, Mullen, and Napier haven't made it.
Mm-mm.
My question is, what's in the water at Florida? Because seriously, because I can't believe that many people have gone to a place like that is a national brand, top 10 public university, top 10 research university, with all the money that it has, and failed. I just, it's hard to wrap my brain around, Shane. And I know you're closer to it than I am, but I loved when Spurrier was there. He was so much fun to watch. It was unbelievable. And then Urban goes and rips off 2 national titles, but Zook and everybody past Urban, other than Dan's 2 years there, can't get it going. It's the craziest thing, Shane. So I don't know what Lane's going to look. Lane, he's got most everything he needs, but I don't know if they can stay at the Georgia. I mean, they haven't proven yet that they're trending that way, Shane. But I don't know if they can get and stay to the Georgia, Bama, Ohio State, level, Shane.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know.
No, you bring up a great point there. It's, once you say, how many coaches have come through here and failed, what's the issue? Before we get you out of here, Bo, someone had a question for you on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Wanted your thoughts on Scott Strickland.
Well, all right. So here's my question. All right. Jeremy Foley made 2 unbelievable hires, Shane, as you know, outside of non-Olympic sports. Well, 3. Billy Donovan, Urban Meyer, and we call him O'Sully Sullivan because he's been phenomenal at baseball. But he also hired Zook, Muschamp, and McElwain. And then, of course, Scott hired Dan and Napier. My question is it Scott and Napier, or is it something deeper at U of F? Because you, like I said, you're an unbelievable school academically, research-wise. You have all this wealth in your fan base. My question, when I look at Florida, I look at this. When I was in college in the 90s, Florida was unreal. Shane Matthews, Chris Doring, Warfel, Spurrier. Y'all won SEC titles like I drink coffee.
Yeah.
And you can't get it. So is it Scott and Napier, or is it
something bigger?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know the answer to that either. You bring up a great point, and a lot of people on these YouTube and text line and Facebook are agreeing with you that like we need to figure it out.
Hey, here's my question. Sure. I hear from people who know people at Florida, and they're like, look, we want to be great, excellent, and elite academically. And they are. My question is, does that same group, Shane, want to be elite in the world of college football?
That's the key. That's the key. All right, I'm gonna leave you with this last question from Joseph on Facebook Live. Okay. Does Bo Bounds think Lane would leave Ole Miss for Florida? Yes or no?
Do I think it could happen? Yes. I'm inclined right now to say it doesn't favor Florida, and I can't believe I'm saying that because it's Florida. Does that make sense, Shane?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yep, for sure. I mean, a lot of things, I brought up, there's no state tax here.
Yeah.
He's
got the place in Boca Raton.
Yeah. Either he's going to be the highest paid coach in America, in my opinion, when it's all said and done after this season, either staying in Oxford being the highest paid coach or to be here in Gainesville.
Right. No question.
Yeah. But let everybody know how they can listen to your great show, Out of Bounds.
Yes. You can download the Out of Bounds radio app, or you can stream it on thezone1059.com. I appreciate it, Shane Matthews. It's great to see you, buddy.
You too, my man. Appreciate it. I'll hit you up next time I'm over there in Madison.
Yes. I'll take you to lunch or dinner.
All right. Appreciate it, Bo. Take care, buddy.
All right. See you, man.
That's Bo Bounds. Join us on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Silverback Concrete builds firm foundations for generations. You stand on it. We stand by it. Tomorrow we'll have JC and Edgar Thompson on the program. Q Lee says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, UF needs to hire Rand Carthon for AD. Rand would be a good one, but man, he's in the National Football League as like a top. I think he's a general manager of the Titans, if I'm not mistaken. He ain't leaving the NFL for sure. North Florida Bear says Bernie Matchin cared about sports. Yeah. So anyway, appreciate everybody chiming in, man. I couldn't get to everybody's questions and stuff, but appreciate Bo Bounce for joining us, buddy. And crazy times right now. We'll see what happens. And Andy wants to know, during my surprise, Bryce Young has been benched. Yeah, the Panthers are a mess. They're a mess. They're bad. They're one of the worst NFL teams I've seen in a long time. So anyway, hope y'all enjoyed today's program. We'll be here tomorrow, folks. Have a great day. Take care.